Welcome to my channel. One day just before long holidays, there are two women helping each other to pick up the ring which get trapped deep down in the pool, till the time they realize that the pool is being covered up on the surface. However, it is too late to call someone for help. Let's find out whether they were successful getting out of the pool or not. Spoilers ahead. The movie begins at the pool. The manager pins the clothing notes around for extended holiday. While talking on the phone, Bri leaves her ring in the bag so she can continue her practice. Later, Bri's sister Jonah, who just came from the drug rehabilitation, also joins in the pool. Meanwhile, the janitor, Clara, gets caught by the manager for stealing money in the lost and found room. This is the third time she did it. Clara is told to finish up the cleaning today at the pool before being fired. It is time to close the pool. The manager urges the swimmers to leave. While packing up, Bri notices that her engagement ring is missing. Jonah spots it stuck in a metal grate in the water. Bri immediately dives right in to get the ring back. However, the ring gets trapped in the grate. Even Jonah follows Bri to help her, but to no avail. The manager is satisfied as everyone has left on time, so he presses the button to cover the pull-up for the long holiday coming. Jonah and Bri attempt to come up, but it is too late. As Jonah becomes pissed, Bri tries to calm her down. No one stays at the pool at the time to help the sisters. The two then manage to lift the cover, but it is made from fiberglass and almost unbreakable. Jonah starts to shout at Bri for risking their lives over a stupid ring. Bri then says that it is her proposal ring and she wants to show it off with Jonah. When inspecting the fiberglass cover for weak spots, Bri and Jonah find a small hole that is so tiny even a hand can't put it through. At this point, Jonah confesses that she is jealous of Bri's life while having the drug rehab. Bri has a perfect life and a coming wedding. While Jonah struggles in a rehab, Jonah has to deal with her troubles alone. After years in the center, Bri learns that Jonah meant to throw her ring earlier. The two quarrel. Shortly after that, Bri decides to get back to the ring alone. Finally, she gets it out of the metal grate. Later, his sisters agree not to fight anymore and try to seek help. Instead, Bri suggests to lift up the grate, but Jonah is right. It is too heavy to open. Time goes by until the end of the day. The automatic lights in a pool shot down David Breeze. Bee once keeps calling, but her phone is no in her bag. Jonah blames David for calling hers, but not to try looking for them. Jonah has no trust in David since the very beginning. The sisters again argue over David. Shortly after that, Bri has a severe headache. Bri reveals she was diagnosed with diabetes 3 years ago. Her blood sugar is rapidly declining. Without regularly taking her insulin shot, she'll fall into diabetic coma. Unfortunately, the insulin shot is no in her purse. Jonah is shocked, but she assures Bri that she'll take the shot as soon as possible. The two then manage to widen the hole with a plastic piece found in a pool. When Jonah asks about the family during her being away, Bri opens up about her father, who was an aggressive alcoholic and drug user. Bri meant to fire the house that caused his death. Suddenly, the two heard the door open. It is the janitor Clara, who is preparing to leave. Clara is surprised. There are two women trapped in a pool. Realizing the camera system is on, Clara enters the control room and turns it off. She picks up Bri's bag, taking her cash, smartphone and credit card, pleading a sister to believe she is going to assist them. Clara then asks the girls for the phone PIN card. Jonah stops Bri for doing so. As they begin to pressure Clara's strange attitude, Clara reveals her past in prison and how struggling she is now with her children and the monthly bills. As the sisters delay, Clara turns off the heater. Bri has to compromise with Clara by giving her the PIN card, hoping to get her help. Clara then leaves with a card, promising to get back soon as she can take the money from Bri's card. The girls have no choice but to spend the night waiting. As Bri is getting weaker, Jonah dives deep down to the metal grate, being exhausted due to the cold water. Jonah can't deal with the metal grate alone. Jonah returns to the surface, blaming herself for being cold and helpless. The sisters embrace to warm each other up. In the morning, Clara comes back as promised, seizing the two poor women. At this point, Jonah tries to be polite to the janitor, asking for her assistant to take the insulin shot for Bri. King mad as there is only $80 in Bray's card, Clara threatens the sisters to let them die in the pool for their stupidity. A moment later, Jonah decides to punish Clara for her cruelty and not keep her words earlier. Jonah pretends to cry and asks Clara to come closer to the hole on the pool cover. As Clara places her to the hole, Jonah suddenly sobs her to the air with a sharp plastic. Clara yells out with pain. Clara rushes to see how bad the wound is and stops the bleeding from her ear. The janitor then activates the automatic wound cleaning system, which causes the females to choke on chlorine. The sisters scrape for help from Clara. Understanding the risk of her actions, Clara switches it up after a few minutes. At this point, Clara says she has nothing to lose in the world. She needs the sisters to pay the price for their action. Clara demands the sisters to turn over their most valuable property, which is Bray's engagement ring. Being fed up with the torment, Bray decides to give Clara her ring. Clara again leaves the pool with the ring. Jonah cries in despair, accusing herself for everything. Bray consults Jonah and forgives her for the wrongdoings. After hours in water, Bray begins to have hallucinations. Bray sees the pool cover finally open up and David arrives to rescue her. However, Jonah is not around. She suddenly wakes up, realizing Jonah appears in a pool. Having tired and cold, Bray slowly moves around and sees Jonah with a sharp plastic in her neck. Jonah intends to end her life. Bray tells Jonah to stop and believe that they will survive. However, Jonah claims that even if they get over this, Bray has a great life to move on, while she is going to drown in drugs again. Bray cries and tells that she always needs Jonah in her life and no one abandons her. She thinks the two sisters finally make up after all these years. While Clara puts on Bray's ring, David calls up again. Clara opens the voice messages and learns that David will call 911 since he hasn't seen her home, is worrying to be sent to prison again. Clara shows up again at the pool to talk to the sisters. Clara wants the two to promise not to reveal a word about her to anyone else or she'll abandon the two in the pool forever. Jonah and Bray agree. Embracing each other in happy moments, Clara decides to open the pool cover to let Bray and Jonah out. But the passcode she was given by the manager is no longer valid. Clara explains to the two and says that she has had enough with the situation. Clara then leaves and lets the sister decide their fate. The worst fear now comes to Jonah and Bray. Another night passes. Bray seems to fall into coma. Jonah manages to shake her out of it. Bray reveals that during the accident that killed her father, she actually stopped him from fleeing, saying, "I killed that monster." Jonah decides to try to lift up the metal grate again. After several failures, she takes the tower from Bray and hooks it to the grave. Finally, she is able to take one piece out. Coming back to Bray, Jonah is shocked that Bray has completely passed out and drowned in water. Jonah has to dupe her on Bray, making her regain consciousness. Jonah takes all her remaining power to break the cover from the hole. Jonah rips off the fragiles to widen the hole, bleeding her arm. Finally, the sisters escape out of the pool. Jonah quickly gives Bray the insulin shot, unsure if Bray can survive. All of a sudden, Clara appears with a gun pointing at the two. She threatens to kill Bray and Jonah. After considering what would happen if they didn't die in the pool, she does not want to return to prison. However, Clara slowly drops the gun down and returns the ring to Jonah. Feeling guilty and sympathetic, Jonah calls the police and the ambulance to help Bray, telling Clara to leave before. In the last scene, Bray is awake receiving the ring back from Jonah. The two sisters burst into tears and follow the police out of the pool. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.